Hello again and welcome to EQUALMAN magazine. I'm with a good friend and a best author, Erik Qualman. You might know him as EQUALMAN, and we have the privilege to speak with him in EQUALMAN Mexico. Erik, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Please tell us a little bit about your background. How do you define that you want to be a digital leader? How do you end up with this socialnomic concept, and what is the future of marketing in your own words?
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here, my friend, in Mexico, and blessings to all the people of Mexico here. But you know, I fell into this backwards. I was in a digital space for 20 years, working for both large and small companies in the US, but they were global companies. Then I decided to write the book Socialnomics, just because I thought people needed to know that social media was not just for teenagers. So that was 9 years ago. And then since then it blew up, did some videos that went massively viral, and I've been blessed for the last 9 years to be speaking around the country. So now I've spoken in around the world, spoken in 49 countries, and we've been able to reach 25 million people. We're trying to entertain, educate, and empower people to achieve their best life. And our audacious goal is really to empower 7 billion people in the next 20 years. And so our whole message when it comes to marketing is really around that word of mouth is now on digital steroids, or word of mouth is now world of mouth. And so that's the whole concept of socialnomics. We trust what you, our friends, like and don't like. And so it's really about that organic grassroots. And as marketers, it's understanding is how do we enable our tribes more and more to kind of get the story out there. So it's not us sitting in our tower, it's us working closely with our best customers to help them tell the story, to be the best marketers, be the best salespeople.
Okay. You have a lot of videos that they are reaching millions of people right now. And there's a lot of marketers asking, what is the secret to get viral? Because it seems that every time you launch a video, that video really gets it, or really gets millions of people. Is there a formula? Is there a secret to create viral content?
It's a good news, bad news scenario. There is no formula. If I knew the formula, we'd be on our helicopter right now. But there's a lot of things that we see that people do that definitely are not going to work. And so the number one thing when we're working with our partners is to understand it's not about you, it's the viewer. Now a lot of us understand that, but then we go in and start to write the script, and we start to innately, it's in our brain to write about our product, to write about our benefits, rather than figuring out what's of value to the user. And so that's why we've been fortunate to have some go viral, some not. So part of it is get out there, test, but also understand there is no formula. But one thing for sure you have to do is always take the standpoint of the viewer. And so what's of value to them? And if you don't think it's of value, don't put it in there.
That's a very good advice, and it takes me to another question, which is, there's a lot of technology going around, there's a lot of new trends, chatbots and robots, IoT, whatever, you name it. But the human part is also very important. So what are your advice for a marketeer guy in order to combine this technology with the humanization of the formula, of the things?
And that's what I'm going to talk about a lot here today, is really that combination of the offline and the online. I'm a tech guy, and tech gets me excited, but the reason I got really involved with social media, now digital and mobile and beyond, is that it's all about relationships. And so it's really at the core is how do you develop that relationship. So it doesn't replace the coffees, does not replace the lunches. The technology is there when time and distance are an issue. So it's really in the Jetsons era when you think about it. It's those that act like the Flintstones in the Jetsons that are winning. And so it's that combination, it's the balance. But I always preach and start with face-to-face first, just like we are here. Yeah. I'll physically be on stage here, even though technology will allow me to be Skyped in or Facebook Live or Instagram Live. It's just not the same thing. You physically have to be there. And so the same holds true for marketing. Always start with that presence first, and then layer the technology to deepen those relationships.
Several years ago, companies decided to start slowly to enter into the social media platforms. Now they are in, and they want to know what is going to be the future of the Facebook, which is still growing, but it's good and bad. and Twitter is not doing that okay. So, what is your vision, or how does these platforms are going to look like in the future?
So I would say from a social media general perspective, we're probably coming down the slope a little bit in terms of the hype, just because it's become ingrained in most of us, and it's not going away. We're social animals by nature. I think the next phase of social media is really to make sharing a lot easier, where it doesn't disrupt our life, where I don't have to stop, pause, film, edit, send, that it just automatically does that for me, whether that's through glasses, contact lenses, where it curates the content, so it allows you to live your normal life, but then shares the most important moments. So if you think about grandparents or abuelos, is that if you have, it automatically would film your children, and then it would send the 30 seconds that matter to the grandparents. Okay. And then you can project that into what does that mean for marketing. That's just one example, but that to me is the next step. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there, but that's the next big step.
And this takes me to my last question for you, and I want to talk a little bit about trends, your vision of trends that a marketer should really be aware of, because he would need to know these tools in the future. So from your perspective, what is the future of marketing?
So I'm betting my money by the year 2022, the data shows that 3/4 of all mobile consumption, so obviously mobile is moving rapidly, but 3/4 of all of our consumption from our mobile devices will be video. So if you're not engaged in testing video, you're going to be well behind by the time that arrives. So I'm putting most of my chips and really telling people go deep on video, because that's where the name of the game is going to be.
Okay. Last but not least, what about AR, VR? I mean, it seems that it wants to convert into a trend, but it's going to be like trapped into video, or it's going to be like arising like something new. What is your point of view in that?
I think in the short term, there's some major instances where virtual reality makes sense, whether it's on American football, to where the quarterback that doesn't play much can actually see what it looks like before he gets on the field, or a doctor, they could actually practice. And so that's very helpful. But VR's been around since 1984 as well. So I'm more bullish on like artificial intelligence than I am on virtual reality. Virtual reality is going to be big, but artificial intelligence is going to be much bigger in my mind.
Okay. So this is Erik Qualman for EXMA Magazine, and we have the pleasure to be with him here at EXMA CDMX 2017. Erik, thank you very much. A pleasure to have you here.
Honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Adiós, amigos.